Hey everybody, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brian.
And this time we wanted to talk about something that Brian is a real expert on, and that has to do with the different types of cleaning solutions that are out there. As a manufacturer of test and inspection equipment, we will always say, hey, you inspect it. If it's dirty, then clean it. We don't care what you use, but as long as it works. And then once that's clean, you verify it's clean and proceed. But when it comes to what to use, this is where something that you're really strong at. Cleaning sticks, different clickers, different other devices out there. What do you see? What do you recommend when it comes to that?
Well, I think, Tyler, a lot of times it kind of depends on what you're dealing with, right? So the trend in the industry right now is to try to focus more on, hey, I want a clicker. The advantage that a mechanical clicker has is that it allows you to clean both ends of the connector, right? So you can take the caps off, you can go through, you can clean the connectors inside the adapter and the port, and then you can put the end cap back on, you can clean your assemblies. But there's also some limitations to clickers, right? So they're a wonderful tool, but they're basically built for high fiber counts. So if you're doing something like a 288 fiber panel, something like a clicker probably makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. If you're dealing with lower fiber counts, for example, like if I'm just putting a 24 fiber patch panel in, maybe something like using the stick cleaner is better, right? It's going to be a little bit less expensive. And I think another thing you want to concentrate to or think about is look at the contaminants that the end faces have been exposed to. So for example, if I'm sitting here working at an outside plant pedestal, what you want to do is probably look at the contamination that you have on, so it's important to inspect, right? And when you see how much debris is actually on the end face, sometimes a stick will allow you to be more thorough. Mm-hmm. But the clickers are a great tool that are out there. Again, just kind of thinking about the fiber counts as well as the type of contamination that you have.
Can I ask you a little bit of question about the clicker? I tend to prefer using a click-style cleaner, mainly because I feel like a cleaning stick or a swab or any of those, you have to be, there kind of is maybe a little bit of a skill set there. You know, you have to be more savvy in how to use it. And I'm terrible at it for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And so I like to be able to go in there and if it's dirty, hey, get out my clicker. It's a controlled thing, and you know it works well for Tyler, and and it cleans.
Right.
Do you see that as well? Is there a craft skill set level with that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you use a stick cleaner or even a wipe, whether it be like an optical grade wipe or one of the cassettes that are out there, it's a little bit dependent upon operator technique. Now, when you go through and you use a stick cleaner, it's very simple. You put it in, you rotate it, and what I usually do is recommend rotating it several times in the same direction. If you kind of go back and forth, you sometimes, especially some of the lower grade sticks that are in the market, you can actually retransfer stuff on. Same way with the wipes. You have some people that want to try to do figure eights or go back and forth. When you wipe a connector, Tyler, the best thing you can do is just wipe it in one direction, right? Mm-hmm. So one direction with the wipe, whether it's on a cassette or you can, with a stick, you also just want to make sure you go in that, rotate it multiple times. Mm-hmm. Don't reuse sticks, right? Because you start reusing sticks, you actually
can transfer
cross-contamination.
The guy who keeps the one cleaning stick in his pocket and he keeps using that. Yeah, that's...
But, you know, there's another interesting thing, too, also with sticks. A lot of times when you start getting especially connector wear debris, it can start to build up inside the adapter sleeve. Right? And so the way the mechanical cleaners work is they have to be able to go through and rotate so that the cleaning strand goes across, right? So if you have things that are a lot of like connector wear debris or you're worried about dust, especially in low humidity environments, if you go through and start running those clickers multiple times in consecutive shots, in some ways you can actually be tuning up that ferrule. So that contact friction is called basically triboelectric charging. And it's the same thing as like when I walk across the carpet and I touch something in the wintertime and I get that shock, it's the same thing.
So now you're potentially charging it to attract debris and dust? Is that what
That's
you're saying?
right. So anyway, the good thing is clickers have a great place as well as sticks and wipes. And I think really it boils down to this. Think about what is your fiber count? Am I dealing with high fiber counts or low fiber counts? From an economy standpoint, if you're dealing with lower fiber counts, maybe the sticks or the wipes are a better way to go. If you're dealing with a lot of high density patch panels, then yeah, probably a clicker. And number two, make sure you start thinking about the contamination. And the best way you can do that is you inspect the end faces, right? So you want to inspect, clean, and reinspect. But if you realize that you're dealing with things that have a heavy level of contamination, maybe going back to the traditional stick and wipes is the best way to go.
And if you just said it too, the best way to know at the end is after you clean it, inspect it again.
Absolutely.
Make sure you got that.
Because no method is 100%.
So we'd like to hear from you. What do you prefer to use? Why? Tell us. Until next time, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brian.